In the complex and tumultuous ocean of life, where each wave represents a different aspect of our ambiguous and transient reality, emerges the perspective of Arthur Schopenhauer. This distinguished 19th-century philosopher guides us through a philosophical journey that challenges the complacency of superficial optimism, leading us to confront the difficult truths of philosophical pessimism. The enigma of life. Existence presents itself as a perpetual mystery, filled with questions that lack clear answers. Schopenhauer shows us a world where ignorance of these great questions is common, a kind of voluntary blindness in the face of the inevitable reality of human suffering. The will to live and the infinite desire. At the core of his philosophy lies the idea of will, an abstract and omnipresent concept in every being and object in the universe. This will, devoid of logic and reason, is what drives existence, yet it is also the source of constant discontent. For Schopenhauer, every impulse and motivation is merely an expression of this insatiable will. Humanity, the apex of will and suffering. Humans, as the highest embodiment of this will, find themselves in a state of constant need and dependency. Schopenhauer offers a vision where humanity is trapped in an endless struggle to satisfy desires that are never fully quenched. Happiness, then, is merely a fleeting illusion in a sea of desire and suffering. The paradox of desire and suffering. Schopenhauer explores the paradox that the fulfillment of a desire only leads to more desires, and that every pleasure inevitably brings more pain. Suffering, therefore, is an intrinsic condition of life. At this point, his thought finds parallels with the truths of Buddhism, highlighting the omnipresence of suffering and its origin in desire. The existential pendulum between pain and boredom. Life, according to Schopenhauer, is like a pendulum swinging between pain and boredom. We are bound to suffering in our quest for satisfaction, and when we manage to quench our desires, we face the emptiness of tedium. This cycle perpetuates a constant dissatisfaction, where genuine happiness appears as an unattainable mirage. Human consciousness, between a blessing and a curse. Schopenhauer confronts us with another aspect of our existential tragedy, consciousness. Through it, we reflect on the past and future, expanding our capacity to experience both ecstasy and despair. Consciousness, in its highest expression in humans, is a double-edged sword. It elevates us above animals, but at the same time plunges us into depths of suffering unimaginable to them. The denial of suicide, expanded perspectives from Schopenhauer. In his analysis of existence and its apparent futility, Schopenhauer addresses the topic of suicide with a paradoxical interpretation. Contrary to what one might think, he argues that suicide is not a denial of the will to live, but rather an extreme affirmation of it. According to Schopenhauer, true emancipation is not found in physical destruction, but in the spiritual and ethical overcoming of the will. Liberation through art and ethics. Schopenhauer identifies two main paths to escape the labyrinth of suffering: art and ethics. Art offers temporary relief, allowing for a momentary pause from the constant pressure of the will through aesthetic contemplation. In contrast, ethics leads to the development of compassion and a deeper understanding of our shared condition of suffering, leading to a form of asceticism, a practical renunciation of the will. Expansion of these ideas. To complement and expand on Schopenhauer's ideas, we can explore how his focus on art and ethics applies in the modern world. In an era where art has diversified and is more accessible than ever, we can consider how different forms of artistic expression, such as music, literature, and cinema, offer refuge and solace, allowing people to experience temporary liberation from everyday concerns. This resonates with Schopenhauer's notion that art frees us from the will by immersing us in a pure aesthetic experience. On the other hand, Schopenhauer's ethics, with its emphasis on compassion and mutual understanding, becomes even more relevant in our era of globalization and digital connection. Understanding and empathy for the suffering of others can inspire altruistic actions and promote a sense of community and shared responsibility. This aligns with Schopenhauer's idea that the ethical overcoming of the will leads to a practical renunciation of selfish compulsions, fostering a more conscious and considerate approach to life. Furthermore, in the context of contemporary challenges of mental health, Schopenhauer's ideas about the spiritual and ethical overcoming of the will can offer a valuable perspective. Instead of seeking solutions in physical annihilation, we can find ways to confront and transform our internal suffering through personal reflection, spiritual development, and connection with others. This approach can be a powerful tool for dealing with pain and finding deeper meaning and satisfaction in life.